Ever seen one of these? From years past.
Break me down with all of your hatred, and your journey towards the dark side will be complete.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This is going to be my new Mandalorian Season 2 video for Grogu and the Darksaber. There's a very important reason why they have that scene. They're foreshadowing a lot of big things for later this season in the finale, but also the path that he's on for the future seasons as well as what's happening with the Darksaber in future seasons. It's obviously one of the most important items on the show. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. We'll do a new giveaway for Disney Plus memberships. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave all your theories about the Darksaber and Grogu on the video. Careful for spoilers for everything that happened during the episode. Even though it was one of the shortest episodes of the season, they still pushed the plot forward in a really big way. But the episode ends with Moff Gideon taunting Grogu in that scene with the Darksaber, asking him if he remembers it from years past, referencing his time training on Coruscant at the Jedi Temple before the Clone Wars, Order 66, and the events of the original trilogy of movies. So not only is it cool that Grogu recognizes the Darksaber like he reaches out for it, this also lets you know that Moff Gideon knows more about Grogu's own history than the show has let on previously. Giancarlo Esposito did an interview kind of hinting at Grand Admiral Thrawn's connection to all this, saying that he had some sort of really amazing information source feeding him all this during the series. Here's the weird thing though, he doesn't refer to Grogu by name, even though he probably does know his name. He just calls him the asset, but I think that just feeds into the idea that he only sees Grogu as an asset in his grand plans. Like he's not a person, he's just an object to be exploited. This is kind of his default mode of operation as we've seen. It's another way of just baking a lot of Darth Vader references into his villain character, a lot of Darth Vader themes. Vader never cared about any of his subordinates or anyone around him. They were just tools to be used in pursuit of whatever his objectives were in any given scenario. Most of the time when you look at Easter eggs and references like this, they're more for comedic value, like all the memes of Darth Vader choking his subordinates out. Congratulations, next guy, you just got a promotion. That's why Moff Gideon pauses to stop his men from saving the other stormtroopers from Grogu when he's using the Force to just wreck them all over the prison cell. He even seems like he enjoys all that violence coming off of him. Everyone post all your Emperor Palpatine memes. Good, do it. Let the anger flow through you. I've already mentioned the obvious Darth Vader Princess Leia reference during this prison scene of him interrogating her on the Death Star, but the scene also takes a very Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker turn when Emperor Palpatine was trying to turn Luke to the dark side by having him give in to his anger. He wanted Luke to try and kill him, knowing that by doing so, he would one, fail because Darth Vader was there to stop him, and the Emperor is super powerful. But even if he did fail, it would be like his Anakin Skywalker Tusken Raider moment when he went around killing all the Tusken Raiders. It wouldn't immediately make him a Sith, but by giving into his anger like that, doing something so messed up, it makes them temporarily much more powerful, just giving into that much emotion. It makes it kind of euphoric, and it makes it much more likely for them to react in a similar way the next time they're faced with an impossible situation. Like the next time a bunch of stormtroopers try to force Grogu to perform tests and take his blood samples, he's much more likely to give in to hate and start tapping into the dark side of the Force instinctually to save himself. But talking more about the Darksaber history and Grogu's history in the Jedi Temple, even though he recognizes the Darksaber during the prequel era of movies, even though it was widely known, it was widely documented, in most of the years leading up to the Phantom Menace in the Clone Wars, the blade mostly rested with Jon Favreau's Pre-Vizsla character. He was the leader of the Death Watch Mandalorians from Clone Wars. They were also featured during the Mandalorian Season 1, Episode 8 in that flashback scene. Notice the symbols on their shoulders? That's the Death Watch crest. They're the ones that saved Mando. That's why Bo-Katan says, "You're a child of the Watch," because they're referencing the Death Watch Mandalorians. To be fair, Bo-Katan was also a member of Death Watch for a little while too, just for a hot minute. The reason why he had it is because it was created by their family's ancestor, Tar Vizsla, over 1,000 years ago. He was that first Mandalorian to ever go to the Jedi Temple and formally become a member of the Jedi. He's the Mandalore the Great that they keep referring to during Season 1 when the armor is talking about Mandalore the Great. Like Bo-Katan wants to name herself the new Mandalore. Eventually, Tar Vizsla, after he became a Jedi and created the Darksaber, came back to the planet Mandalore, named himself Mandalore, and united all the Mandalorian clans. There have been Force-sensitive Mandalorians before who just went untrained. He was just the first one to actually go through Jedi training formally.
May the Force be with you.
They sort of get into this when Ahsoka Tano is talking to Mando about Grogu and the dangers of the dark side during Episode 5. There are many, many different Force-sensitive people in the galaxy that just go untrained. They never learn about their abilities, or their abilities are so weak that they never really think about it. So when Ahsoka Tano is saying that it's safer not to train Grogu and let his powers wane, eventually, if Grogu were to go long enough without using the Force, he'd just forget how to perform the most common abilities. He'll still always have that same potential for power. It's not like his midichlorian count is going to change or anything like that, just to get technical. But it's just like a skill that you have to learn. If you go long enough without practicing it, you'll forget how to do it. So Ahsoka Tano is actually thinking about this kind of scenario where Moff Gideon is able to take advantage of Grogu and manipulate him into turning to the dark side like Emperor Palpatine did with Anakin Skywalker, pushing him to eventually become Darth Vader. Grogu is a very big part of Moff Gideon's plans for the galaxy, and it goes beyond just using him like a Force vampire. He wants to use his midichlorians in his cloning experiments to make even stronger Dark Troopers. But also he would love to use Grogu himself as another Darth Vader-style pawn, just a really powerful dark side Force user potentially to execute his will around the galaxy. Just another kind of super weapon for him to roll out potentially in the future if he were able to actually turn Grogu to the dark side. I'll probably do more videos about this because there's so much stuff that they're foreshadowing Grogu's storyline in this season and future seasons. As he gets more powerful in future seasons, it's going to get crazier and crazier. I think this part of the scene is also very clever foreshadowing and setup for the season finale and future seasons for a number of different storylines, not just Grogu's storyline. But think about it this way, look at those tiny little hands on him while he's cuffed, and Grogu's hands are so tiny themselves, there's no way he'd be able to wrap his hands around the hilt of the Darksaber even if he could take it from Moff Gideon. But here's the other reason I think they showed you Grogu using the Force to throw around the Stormtroopers so easily in a couple key scenes from previous episodes of him using the Force. Because one of the more common Jedi abilities, especially if you played any of the video games in the past 20 to 30 years, is using the Force to throw around a lightsaber. Grogu actually doesn't need to hold it in his hands to use it. When he's not exhausted like this, he can just snatch it out of Moff Gideon's hands the way he was snatching the ball out of Mando's hand. So now you see the importance of that foreshadowing scene when they were testing his abilities. It's meant to show you what Grogu can do and foreshadow a bigger twist later on, possibly the season finale, definitely future seasons, where Moff Gideon gets really overconfident like he is here. Look at the smile on his face. Giancarlo Esposito is so good at doing evil guy scenes like this. So think of a scenario where he gets super overconfident like this, starts waving the Darksaber around, and Grogu, who is not tired, uses the Force to snatch it from his hands, then throws the Darksaber around the room, attacking Moff Gideon and his men. And the other really important part of this scene here is when Moff Gideon says, possibly the most leading thing ever, when he says, "You're not ready to play with such things, you could take someone's eye out." Which means he's probably totally gonna take someone's eye out with the Darksaber. Also think about it this way, Grogu spends most of his time stealing things. He snatches eggs all the time. He snatches those cookies all the time. Obviously it's hilarious to watch him do that, but it's also part of the foreshadowing for eventual big twists in the finale and future seasons, like, oh, snatching things, stealing things, just taking things that he wants. There's also a lot of foreshadowing for darker Grogu story arcs in future seasons, but like they say during Mando and Ahsoka Tano scenes in Episode 5, it's just one of many possibilities, and a lot of what ends up happening to Grogu, the path that he chooses to take, as Ahsoka says, will be informed by the people around him. Mando is like the good dad influence, like Qui-Gon Jinn wanting to help Anakin Skywalker when they found him. Obi-Wan Kenobi hilariously didn't want to have anything to do with Anakin Skywalker at first. And Moff Gideon being more like the bad dad, like Emperor Palpatine trying to create a negative father-son bond with Anakin in order to manipulate him. But the other side of this Darksaber scene is meant to remind you of the Bo-Katan storyline that they teased during Episode 3 for the other Mandalorians. She's on a mission not only to take that back, but also to kick the rest of the Empire and Moff Gideon off of Mandalore, the planet, and name herself the new Mandalore, taking everything back from Moff Gideon, and now we know Grand Admiral Thrawn, that they've stolen from their people. I also realize everyone would love to see Mando use the Darksaber at some point. There's totally a way they can do that and pay off the Bo-Katan Darksaber storyline, because I do think that Bo-Katan will ultimately be the one to take it back and keep it, but probably not till way later in the series. But post all your theories in the comments below. Do you think that Grogu's going to be able to take the Darksaber, at least for a little while, during the finale or future seasons? I've got a couple more videos about the Jedi answering Grogu's call, about Boba Fett and Grogu in future seasons, so as long as you have alerts enabled for my channel, you should see those when they post, but leave all your video requests in the comments. Congratulations, Joseph Valente, you're the giveaway winner from my last big Star Wars video. Please email me on the About page of my channel so I can get your contact details. Everyone click here for my full Mandalorian Season 2 Episode 6 video, and click here for my Mandalorian Grand Admiral Thrawn video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, this is the way.